Hey everybody, I just wanted to jump on here and tell you guys that I was wrong. I admit it. I'm human. I make mistakes. I know it's hard to believe, but I was wrong. I know you guys can't believe it, but it's true. I spoke too soon, okay? Sometimes that happens. I opened up the box, I looked at the baits, and I was just like, man, these things are not going to catch fish. But I caught fish on the baits. How'd you do it? Stay tuned. Alright guys, so basically on the last Monster Bass box review that I did, I received some what I would consider, clear water baits, and I think just the idea of, these not being dark and, bright colors that I'm used to and that I'm comfortable with and that I like to fish, I kind of spoke too soon, okay? And that's alright, I put the baits to the test, I put them in the water, and I put a couple fish in the boat with them. So I guess that's what this whole thing is all about, this whole subscription box thing is about, whether it's Monster Bass or Mystery Tackle Box or whoever, it's about exposing yourself to these new lures so you can try these new things. So for me, I was able to take some baits that I wasn't really confident in and put some fish in the boat. So, now that's going to expand my arsenal, and maybe I'll venture out in some of these other colors and styles of baits, and it might make me a better angler because of it. But I just want to say that I'm sorry because, I did kind of bash on Monster Bass a little bit, and I was really wondering if I was, getting my money's worth. But I did speak too soon on a couple other things as well, and that was on the quality of one of these baits in particular. This is the Rika Outdoors. I don't recall the name of the bait. I do remember it has an S in the name, and the reason I remember that is because this is the Megabass S crank. This is the same blank. So the Megabass version of this probably costs, almost 20 bucks, I'd imagine, if it's like any of the other Megabass stuff. So I'll go ahead and link the price of the Megabass version of this down below. I did dig into the Rika Outdoors website a little bit, and I found that this bait was $13.99 or $13.50, something like that. So I believe that the value that Monster Bass had on this bait is correct. So initially I was thinking that they were overvaluing this crankbait just because I had simply not heard of the company before. And I understand, I do have friends that paint baits, and I do have some bait maker friends that tie jigs and do these sort of things, and I understand just because they're not a well-known brand doesn't mean that they're not quality lures. So I will say that even though I was a little bit turned off on the color of this bait, it is an awesome paint job. So I'll try to get some up close video of this bait and show it's kind of a translucent ghost craw, like bluegill-ish pattern. So it really covers a lot of bases there. I was hesitant to fish this bait simply because it's a ghost pattern, and I fish a lot of dirty water. Now I did catch a fish on this in my grandpa's private pond or lake, whatever you want to call it. It's an old rock quarry, and so it is a lot clearer than in most of the stuff that you're going to find around here. However, this is a quality bait. So I want to take back the things that I said. I think I questioned the value of this bait. I mean, this thing has good hooks on it. This thing has great action. It looks awesome. I just want to say that I was wrong. It's a hard pill for me to swallow, but I'm just getting it off my chest and I feel better for it. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, the next thing that I questioned out of that box, and it was a value issue that I had with this bait as well. I believe this value on that Monster Bass unboxing video, I believe it was like a $6.50 value, and I just said, that seems like a lot of money for this underspin, this brand that I've never heard of named Catch Outdoors, And I was just like, you know, maybe if this was a high-end, you know, name, or a fish head spin, or, you know, owner, flashy swimmer, or something like that, then maybe I could have seen the value that they had placed on this bait. And I was wrong. I went on Tackle Warehouse and they had this thing priced right. And to top that off, I actually caught a pretty decent little 2.5 pound fish on it. And so anyways, it's not necessarily a clear water bait, or, you know, or anything like that. But I think I was just questioning the value of the bait, whether or not it was worth $6.50 for this single underspin. And, you know, I looked it up. I did some Googling. It didn't take me long to find out that, you know, it was valued correctly. And what I did was, actually, I didn't catch the fish on this soft plastic here. I caught it on this Big Bite Baits BB kicker. And this is a bluegill pattern. It really pairs a lot nicer with this owner flashy swimmer here. It's really meant for an EWG style hook, the way that this bait is made. But I did actually rig it on this exposed hook application here, and I caught a fish on it. So I just want to say the value on this thing was right. There's probably thousands of people out there that have bought this thing off a Tackle Warehouse and caught a fish just like I did on it. So I just want to say that this thing is worth the $6.50. It's got a good hook on it, and I mean, it catches fish. So I was wrong. Again, I was wrong, and I know that's hard for you guys to possibly comprehend. I know that's hard, but I was wrong. Now this BB kicker here, this has a nice big, you know, kick that you would expect out of such a big paddle tail like that. It's got the bluegill pattern, which I really like, and it does the trick. So I think I'm going to try throwing it on this one, and I'll probably pair this one with something that's more similar to, you know, like a Kitech, or this is the Reaction Innovation Skinny Dipper here. I'll probably pair it with, you know, something like that. The other thing that I was a little bit hesitant about was the spear point hooks, and I think I mentioned how I was only going to be able to use this hook. It was like the GP Finesse, I believe, or something like that. I was only going to be able to use it drop shotting. Well, I used it drop shotting and I caught a fish. So what do you know? And I actually like the way that hook sets up for a weedless drop shot. I do like to drop shot with a weedless, you know, EWG hook, and that thing was perfect for it. So it hides inside of the soft plastic of the worm really well, and it kept the fish pinned. So I was wrong. There was like 4 different baits there that I just spoke too soon about, and that's what part of this whole, you know, subscription box thing is about. That's what this whole Monster Bass subscription thing is about trying new things. Sometimes, you know, we're our own worst enemies, and it can happen that way out on the water as well. You know, we can really second guess ourselves, or we can really take the information that we're given, that the fish give us, that the conditions give us, and we can do what we choose to do with it. So I think that in this case, it's the same way. You know, I can take that bait and I can find a place, I can find an application for it, I can use it in its strengths and put fish in the boat, or, you know, I can just let it collect dust. So, you know what, guys, I just want to come out and say it, that I was wrong, that I think that these baits that I was ragging on the last video are good baits. I think that, you know, they're maybe some of them are for more clear water than, you know, we have in this part of the country, but you know, this time of year we're starting to see water clear up a little bit. We're starting to see, you know, less rainfall and stuff like that. So not all bad. So I know it surprises the heck out of you guys, but I was wrong. I'll admit it. I'm sure I'll be wrong again, and I'll tell you guys when I am. So I appreciate you guys staying tuned. We're really trying to grow this channel. I'm trying to stay on these videos, do one a week or so, even through these winter months. But I promise you, once warmer weather gets here, we'll start doing more fishing. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get out on the water. I've got some stuff planned for the next one. I went out and got some cheap jigs. These are Strike King jigs. You can pick them up at Walmart. That's exactly where I got these. I got one of the pro model jigs, I got one of the swimming jigs, and then I got one of their football jigs. And one of these days I just want to do a jig fishing video and show you guys where and when and how I like to fish these style of baits. Jigs are one of my favorite, and there's really all kinds of jigs. So when do you use this one versus when do you use the next one, right? So that's something that I want to do, and I feel like maybe that's something we can even do throughout these colder months. The next bait that I want to try out, I've actually never fished this bait before. This is the Spro rock crawler, and I like to fish a lot of places. I think this will be effective. I really like to fish that 9 to 10 foot depth ranges, and I know this thing does really well in the rocks, so I've got some places in mind that I want to throw this thing around for some smallmouth, and that's really why I picked that color. So I'd like to try to get out on the water and show you guys maybe how to fish this lure, or maybe you guys can help me figure out how to fish this lure and see what I think about this thing. I've never fished it before, so I've heard some people talking about it, and I've never picked one up, so this is the year. The other bait that I picked up with the purpose of fishing during these colder months is the Stealth Blade jackhammer. So you guys all know about the jackhammer. This has a stealth blade on it. It's a clear, I'm assuming some type of hard plastic blade on there, so I'm assuming it gives off a different vibration, and not really sure what to expect on this one, but I do know that I love fishing a chatterbait. I love fishing a bladed jig. I haven't done much fishing with the jackhammers, but I figure the colder months would be, I figured this bait would work better in the colder months than maybe your standard chatterbait. So those are some things that I'm thinking about. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what video you want to see next. So, you know, do you want to see the jig video? Do you want to see the rock crawler video? Or do you want to see the chatterbait video? You know, which one do you want me to do next? Let me know. I think I'm going to get out this weekend and try to film one of them, or if not all of them. We'll see how it goes down. Guys, I want to thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We're going to try to do what we can to grow this channel, keep the content coming, and come up with some even better content as time goes on. So you guys just let me know what you want to see next. And until next time, we'll see you guys out there on the water.